Hello, hello.
Hello.
Just a few miles away. But
I
here we
was
are.
distracted by looking at I get all this feedback that people want to see like the bun, but the bun makes me so tall. And I'm like, if I lean forward, I'm out of the screen. So I gotta stay back.
Stay back. I love it. I love your bun. Mom loves your bun. Just in case, I'm going to shout out to Mom. She's always got to tell me I got to fix my hair. How's it looking, Mom? Did I get a little puffed in the little front and the little? She's too funny. But that's the hairdresser in her. I can't help it. This is who I am.
Yeah, no, and isn't it fun being the daughter of? Well, what I want to know is, what does your mom like to be called? A beautician, a hairstylist, a cosmetologist?
She's beautician. She's been beautician. So I think that's probably what she would go for, being called beautician.
Because my grandma was also a beautician.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom was in that, like, for a phase, she wanted to be called a cosmetologist. Because
encompasses everything. Yes.
Yes. So, but
shout out to the moms.
Yes, to the moms, and shout out to all, like, we're healers, like, obviously, like, we do healing work with people, but like the hairdressers of the world, they are all healers as well.
Yes, the bartenders, the hairdressers, all y'all that have somebody in the chair and listening and letting a person just be who they are and vent if needed. God bless you.
But a funny one that I've I don't know, meme, whatever, on social media lately, that it keeps popping up in my feed. Yeah. It says it's like a guy speaking to other men, like, dude, if you're with a white girl that does hair, she's a witch. Like, all white girls that do hair are witches. I don't know why white girl, like, I think it could probably go to all women who do hair are witches.
Yes.
But
and I know you do, and I know I do. So free haircuts for a lot of people. And I'm thinking of my witchy hairdresser right now. She's fantastic. Shout out to Core. So
enough about hairdressers.
Yes.
But I have an announcement to make.
Okay. Ooh.
We need a drum roll. This is a shout out to everybody listening.
Okay.
It's about saving the date.
Okay.
I just put down the deposit for the next Stay Away retreat.
Ooh.
It's going to be October 15th through 18th.
Ooh.
So that's all I'm going to reveal right now is the dates. I'm not going to reveal all of
the deets,
the specialness about it.
Yeah.
But I just want you all to know I put the money down, so the space is ours. So put it on your calendar, save the date, watch for registration. For those who've retreated before, like, there will be special offers and first dibs on the spots there.
Cool.
And but I'm so excited.
Wow, that is exciting. I know it's going to be fabulous, and I think I may be in attendance or otherwise. A little helper. So, well, you think we should dive in?
Let's dive in. So, I'm not going to lie. This topic was a little bit inspired by some hate mail that we got.
Ooh.
And it's interesting because the platform that I use to put this podcast out to all the podcast platforms out there, like, if you want to listen on iTunes or Spotify or iHeart or Google or whatever the cajillion other podcast platforms are out there, like, there's not enough time in my life to go do that myself. So there is this platform that I use that I upload it on there, and then it does the work for me. But this thing has something called fan mail where people can send you messages. And after last week's episode, we got some interesting mail. We obviously triggered them by the tone of the message. She didn't fully understand what we were saying, and that speaks a ton to communication. Like, people don't hear what you're saying, they hear what they're capable of hearing at the time, what space they're in, and all of that.
Yeah.
And but there was a lot of I'm gonna say need to be right. There were some belief systems that she was certain about in there. And so that triggered it a little bit. And then also, it doesn't happen a lot now because I think my people get it because I've been educating them for enough time. But people come in with a pain, an ache, or whatever, and they are certain that there is something physically wrong with them, that as long as we find that thing and we fix that thing, their pain is going to go away and everything is going to be right.
Oh, yes.
And just being in this field for this long,
yes,
as well as I know, it doesn't matter what the blood work says, what the x-ray says, what the MRI says, they can all give not accurate results. And in addition, nothing that we physically have wrong with us is solely isolated to the physical. Nope. So, that whole, they want the certainty of knowing exactly what's wrong with them so it can be fixed. That's not real. It's not real. There is no situation like that. And I know people are probably going to reach out and say, yes, but I had this thing and they did that thing and then everything was fine after that. And I'm like, maybe. Maybe it's a
or it's a Band-Aid or quick fix to something. It's a little deeper and it comes up and manifests as something else. Exactly. But sorry, go ahead. I'm feeling you on this one because I've seen it. Yeah.
Right? And I don't know, I'll pause right now. I don't know if you have anything you want to say because there's so many layers. Everything we talk about, there's multiple layers. But
I think you said something really important is what people are ready for. Where is their awareness? Where is their consciousness? We like to go there because we speak that language. And some people don't even speak that language. Some people don't understand the emotional body as it relates to the physical body. And all they see is the physical. So if you only see the physical and not aware that there are other layers, as you speak of, emotional and spiritual, or what we speak of, because we always think and encompass that when we're trying to zone in on what could be the possibilities.
And energetics.
Thank you for bringing that up. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm sure there's even layers that we're not even aware of yet.
Right. Ancestral layers.
Down the road.
Right.
Multiple past
lives. You can go on and on. It's endless. But as our awareness expanded, we started to realize how much contributed to, and you're speaking about pain, because you get that directly in your practice. And I have as well. And it's true. I mean, just because the MRI or the physical test that you have taken says one thing doesn't mean that is the actual cause or what was the reason for that physical thing being exposed on that MRI or that CAT scan. What happened? What happened? Was there a physical trauma? And sometimes there's no physical trauma. It is an emotional block or emotional pain that contributed to the tissues in the body. Or it is a spiritual existential crisis going on. I've had that too, right? Talk about uncertainty there. So we're talking about addicted to certainty.
Well, and I get people wanting that certainty because there's comfort in that. There's safety in that. And So I get craving that because
Mhm.
it feels good to know. But what is the phrase, like, make plans and then watch God laugh?
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Because
Right.
sometimes when we think we have certainty, and we're setting everything up to go out exactly how we want it, and that feels great. And sometimes it does go that way. But, my favorite thing to tell people is let go of expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Let
Yes.
them go.
Mm-hmm.
And, because if you're set on a very specific outcome, you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And if you're looking for that, it's going to find you. So if you're looking for that outcome, you say, oh gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do if it doesn't turn out this way, or the situation that you pre-planned in your head, you're going to say exactly this. The scenario is going to happen just like this. The outcome is just going to be like this. And it doesn't happen, and you're completely crushed, flabbergasted. I have a coworker. I have to call her out on this one because I'll go into the office and I'll say, well, this didn't happen. And she'll go, well, did you die? Well, did you die? No, I guess I didn't. Look at that. So over the years, I think I've been chiseled away at the open up to the the uncertainty, because that's really what we're talking about when we have that certainty, because we feel this threat, this ambiguity. It's so kind of shaking the ground beneath our boots, and we feel unsafe. And if we don't have control over the circumstances, we don't want to play, right? And I think that's because I know a lot of people like that, and I have encountered a lot of people like that, and I try not to hold too tightly about my own certainties that I like. I mean, yeah, I have some certainties that I like and I want to hold on to, like my paycheck every 2 weeks showing up in my bank account. It's funny because as we were preparing this, I'm trying to say, what are mine? Because we have to look at ourselves. We're not devoid of anything we're talking about now. We always are looking at ourselves, right?
Yeah. Yes, we may be here sharing, preaching, whatever you want to call it, and we're still living this 3D human life. And so, I love when I catch myself, like, you know better, Julietta, you know better. But we get caught up in this 3D human existence. And but what is interesting to me is the further down the path I get, the less I cling to certainty.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole the subtitle of this episode is why we cling to being right.
Mm-hmm.
And I get the comfort in being right. I get the ego wants to be right.
Yes.
And we're all in this path searching for what is the truth. And the further along I get, the less tightly I hold on to what I figure out, because, based on history, it's like what I know now is just to prepare me for what's coming next. Because to get from back there up there, like, there's a lot of stages in between. And so some of those things, like, you need, like, they're like rungs on a ladder to get you from one place to the next. But sometimes we get to that next rung and we're just so righteous about it and holding on to it. This is the truth. And when other people try and show you something, like, you can't go there because you were so clinging to that, what you think is right for you at the moment. But learning to live in that space of curiosity, of wonder, and what comes next. And for me, that's where the fun is.
Yes, it is. It is fun. To be open and curious is fun, because the minute you shut down and know that this is the way it is, this is the only way it is, and I'm solid in my knowing, and okay, you're safe. Your nervous system may feel safe, and you feel okay about who you are. And then, even if you don't open just a little bit, do you want to stay stagnant in your life? That's the thing. It's like, we're used to being open, being curious, expanding. What don't I know? I love that question. What don't I know? Because there's so much I don't know, and yeah, I'm an educator, so I'm in the knowing field. But do I go into a classroom about to teach and say, I know everything? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I'll just, I tell the students that, and then once in a while they'll throw out a question that I have to look at my tag and go, somebody taught me this a long time ago. Yep. Nope. Still a physical therapist, not a surgeon, because they'll ask me about some surgical procedure or whatever. But you know what? Stay in your lane and be curious, because you definitely are limiting yourself, right, to what's out there in the world, a different perspective that maybe you want to consider. Can you just give it a second to consider it, not just shut it out, get defensive and block it. That's the kind of thing that I hope that this show sort of brings to the awareness of the people that are listening.
Yeah. So. I love our dear listener, Lara.
Lara, hi.
Lara, she says, I don't know anything in this moment. And, I often think that is the best place to be in, is just to be in that space of, I don't know anything. Show me. Universe, show me.
Yeah.
Like, because that's the thing too, is like believing something that you read or you heard, but you haven't experienced.
Mm-hmm.
Like when people are holding on so tightly to that, I'm like, just let it go and be open to what the universe is going to show you.
Yes.
We keep going back to the medical world because it's the world that we've lived in.
Right.
And, two things on this is, one, like when you look at what the research had proven was absolutely certain back when we were in school, to what the research shows is absolutely certain today. And people, they like hold on to that so tightly. And
to the point of, sorry, I just don't mean to interrupt you, but to the point of scientists, not even, or I should say, allowing new scientific evidence to kind of squash the theory of the past that they have clung so tightly to, have taught, have lived by, to know it's the truth. I mean, things are constantly evolving, and we, in terms of technology or what we explore, is bringing new evidence to the scene. And so we've had actual control, biased, I should say, or confirmation bias even, but we have these people who are shutting things down as far as information goes and say, nope, that's not right, because it negates what's been such a consistent view for so long. And I wish I can remember exactly who that was,
but I used to laugh years ago on Facebook. I would join all these physical therapy groups. I would get kicked out of the groups because I would challenge them on their quote unquote evidence-based medicine. And for me, like, the evidence is what I see happening with the clients. And also finding, like you said, like, so much of this falls outside of the physical realm. And when you're only looking at the physical realm, you're not seeing the results that we want to see. And so having to look beyond that physical realm, it changes everything. I do want to acknowledge, V says hi. Hi, V. Thanks for tuning in.
Aw, we love you both. Aw, we love you too. Thanks for listening, V. That's sweet. Yes. I love our listeners. That's so much fun.
And so, talking about being right, like we often talk about, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
Yeah.
And for me, though, it goes so much beyond being right versus being happy. Like, I think we need to get to that spot where, I guess, like for me, and I apologize, like I'm struggling to put this into words, but just the further along I go in life, the more I recognize that none of this is real. This is all made up. Going back to a few episodes ago when we talked about how we're all creating this. And how are we going to hold on to the certainty of any of this being right, real, whatever, when it's not? And like when you start to have that realization that none of this is real, it just becomes absolutely ridiculous to try and hold on to any of it. And so I really find myself in a perpetual state of what else is possible. And I easily manifest that in my personal world. What I'm really looking forward to is how can we manifest that on a global world, scene. Yeah. And, talking about like the evidence of none of this being real. I was watching someone earlier today talk about, and I've said this many times, so I'm like, I'm glad to hear someone else saying it. But you can see two people watching the exact same thing and have completely different stories of what they just witnessed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
the perspectives are just crazy. When you watch it and witness it, just take a step back to objectively and see this. I mean, sorry to interrupt, but go ahead and finish.
No, the fact that two people can watch the same thing, or five people can watch the same thing and report five different things. And oh my God, here's a blast from my past. Hi, Paige. It's good to see you.
Hi, Paige.
Hi for me too. I miss you guys.
Aw.
They used to live down here and they moved.
Aww.
But thanks to the Ethernet, we can stay in contact.
There you go.
And talking about so some of it may be, that bias that people are seeing things from the bias of where they're at. Yes. But then we also have this, is it, I miss you too. Is it like different dimensions that we're seeing these things from, and in a different parallel reality, similar things are happening but differently? And is it because one person's in one dimension and another person's in another dimension?
I know it. And yes, I understand you. I know this is a little esoteric for maybe some people out there, but the more we expand and understand dimensions and understand realities and understand, and I know everybody has heard of the butterfly effect. That's just one that's a very mainstream look at what we're talking about, because perspectives change over time. And also the truth about even a movie or a scene that has been, I forget which is the most famous butterfly effect one, but you're certain you saw something on the TV, or you're certain you saw this scene that's so, common and well known. And then you go back and you look at that show, that TV, that movie scene, and you went, that's not exactly what I've been.
You're talking about the Mandela effect.
Thank you. The Mandela effect. Why did I say the butterfly effect? The Mandela effect. Sorry, you're right. Because and the butterfly effect too. But so the Mandela effect. Yes, we go back and we watch that piece, and it's exactly not the way we remembered it, but we can corroborate with our childhood friends who watch that. You can ask 10 people, oh yeah, that's exactly what happened. And then you go back and watch and it didn't.
And I think it got its name because there were so many people that I think the belief was that he had died in prison. So many people believed that Nelson Mandela had died in prison and that he didn't. And so it was like, where did this differing come from? And like the Berenstein and the Berenstein Bears, like
yes,
which was it? And
there was
something with peanut butter too. I don't know if it was Skippy or Jiffy or like the spelling of it on the jar.
That's exactly what I was thinking of because of me and my peanut allergy. But yes, that's the one I was thinking of too.
So, but there's, and for people who don't know about this, like Google the Mandela effect, but there are so many pieces of history that, people swear this is what happened, but then like you go back and you look at the images or you look at video clips or whatever, and something completely different happened. And so what is going on there?
And I want to just say one thing about that, because now it just hit me that we're talking about this. It's like, okay, it's the certainty in the collective. So collectively at the time, that was our certainty. Now that we have evolved, new pieces have entered the collective, our perspective is changing, right? What we see, what we experience is changing.
The present is changing the past.
Or or is it just changing the past? But I think the whole point of this, because, we do have everything we watch on TV and everything we argue about and fight about that we're so certain about, and the other is wrong. I mean, we're trying to open up to perspectives here and say, don't cling to it. Don't feed into that, because, the more you hold on tightly, the more resistance you're going to get to your certainty. So it'll just be very polarizing and, not good for you, your body, your mind, your soul, the collective. So, I mean, stick with this.
That's a super important part for everybody, is to understand, like, this need to be right, this need to be certain, does nothing beneficial for your well-being.
No, it does not. It does not. So
being openness and curiosity, what that does to your nervous system is so much healthier.
Absolutely. I know you could speak to the rigidity part of that, right? Your nervous system being rigid, your body being tight, your muscles being tight, your tendons, your joints, your nervous system, the cortisol levels, all of that contributes to your health and well-being. So what we're trying to say is flow, don't be rigid like the mighty oak, flow like the palm tree.
We have a question here.
What's the question? Let's see. How much certainty is healthy? Matthew, thank you for that.
I'm going to make a little joke. 0% certainty is healthy.
All right, I have an answer for that, Matthew. I do. I think there's a certain amount of certainty that, no pun here, you have to have in order for your nervous system to function. And I think we're all at different levels in this. So maybe we're trying to move the needle a little bit, and what's right for me is not right for you, or what's right for me is not right for the next person. So as we're practice at it, we're more fluid, we're more open, our nervous systems are going to get to adjust to that way of being. But somebody that is starting off and needing that certainty because the ground shaking underneath them with anxiety of the uncertainty cannot be as fluid, as open, as welcoming to a new perspective. So I think there's different stages along this path. And I think what's right for a person depends on where they are with this and where their body and their mind and their spirit feels good. I think that's the bottom line. There's no right.
Well, and there's certainty on certain things that are a little bit, is it decreased It doesn't increase the
The
consciousness,
increase of consciousness
help us
helps.
tolerate more uncertainty.
And we've spoke to that.
And I think that's kind of what you were hinting at, is that, yes, the more you evolve, the easier it is to handle uncertainty. And some things, you know, like when I made this cup of cacao, I'm pretty certain I'm going to enjoy this cup of cacao, you know, but I also, you know, I think about, I serve cacao in cacao ceremonies. So I'm oftentimes serving cacao to people who've never had it before. And so the people that have been there before, like, I'm like, yeah, they're looking forward to it. They're going to enjoy it. But those new people, I think about old Julietta. Like, if old Julietta was sitting down and serving a cacao ceremony, I would have this expectation that everybody was going to love it. Everybody was going to finish their cup and it was going to be amazing. But modern day Julietta, like, I sit in there and I go, you know, either they're going to like it or they're not. And whichever, it's okay. And then I also okay, cacao is a sacred plant medicine, like, not meant to be dumped down the drain or flushed down the toilet. And so, you know, for me to be okay with this leftover cacao sitting in the cup, what I ask them to do is to go in a sacred manner and offer that cacao back to Mother Earth. And so, you know, there's ways to create some comfort in uncertainty. And here I will interject a story about needing to be right. So, and this person sent me a video. I chose not to respond because I was like, yes, old Julietta would have had to respond to be right. New Julietta does not have to respond and does not have to be right. But a friend of mine, she's a practitioner of the ways of the medical medium. And if you know who the medical medium is, great. If you don't, Google it. I'm not going to explain it right now. But she sent me a video that the medical medium created telling how bad cacao is for people.
Oh.
All the reasons you shouldn't drink cacao. And because the medical medium channels his information from source, we should trust whatever he says and know that it's true. And I'm like, I think if you're just, and this is with anything that you're consuming, if you're just throwing it down to numb out, to save yourself from boredom, to comfort yourself, like whatever, nothing, you could eat like apples. And if you're doing it that way, like, it's not going to have the health benefits. But like, recognizing that there's a large number of population that recognizes cacao as a sacred plant medicine with gifts, both spiritually and physically. And so I'm like, I know when I consume my cacao, it is coming from a space of love. And so I'm going to continue to stay in an open space, in a sacred space, and enjoy my cacao and not worry about what the medical medium says about cacao. But there's people like the medical medium and those that follow him that have this need to be right about something. And you know, I think, yes, old me probably would have been like, oh my God, I'm giving up cacao because someone who knows more than me says I shouldn't drink it. And no, I'm just going to continue to enjoy my cacao, enjoy, you know, like when I sit back and look at my journey with cacao over the last several years, like, cacao has changed me, it's shifted me, it's changed my life for the better. So I'm going to continue to enjoy it. And if you follow the medical medium and you want to quit your cacao, you can do that too, because then there's more for me.
I like that little tidbit. That's it. As long as we don't have a cacao shortage, we'll be good because we love it.
Well, there was a cacao shortage 2 years ago.
Exactly.
So
I was thinking about that. I remember you having problems with sourcing and had to go.
yeah,
But that's how we found the African, right? That's a good one. Excuse me. So, and to your story and your point, I think no matter what you do, when when you're looking at deciding, on something, whether it's good for you or it's not good for you. And I know I've had this conversation with my son, and maybe he'll listen to this and maybe he won't. But, there's always someone out there, because our World Wide Web is huge, that is going to negate what you believe, right? There's so many opinions, so many perspectives, and you will, if you look, find exactly the opposite of what you may want to try or want to believe. So, I invite all of you to, instead of looking for why you shouldn't because you're uncertain, about something. Now I'm flipping the other way. Like if you're uncertain about something, you're looking on the internet to find that agreement, you'll find it. But how about trusting what's good for you is good for you, and let that other person have that perspective, just like Julietta just said. And because I talk about the news sources, and what people are watching, of course it feeds you, right? But I love the people that can watch anything at any time, everywhere, and not have such a, firm opinion about what they're saying, and kind of let it just jumble around, and don't hold on to that one's wrong and that one's right. Because here we are again, clinging to the certainty of outcomes of elections, outcomes of whatever. So, don't look for it. Just decide, or have some discernment within yourself. I think that's what we're not trusting anymore, is our own discernment. We're looking for collaboration or corroboration, or somebody to tell us this is going to work, this is not going to work, this is going to make you feel better, this is not going to make you feel better, this is going to help with your pain, this is not going to help with your pain, this one's wrong, this one's right. It's just so much flooded into our awareness through this medium.
So, and I think too, like, you're talking about searching for the answers outside of you.
Yeah.
The answers are inside you.
Yes.
And so the more we can tune out to what's out there and tune in, we will know what is right for us.
Mm-hmm.
And what's right for us isn't right for everybody.
Exactly.
And being okay with other people having what's right for them, and you can have what's right for you, and we can still be friends, and we can still get, this whole, at least the last decade, I don't know, maybe the last 2 decades, like it seems to have shifted so much in the past where people could have differences and still be friends. And now it's like, if your favorite color isn't purple, you can't be my friend. And, it goes back to unity.
Yes, it does.
We're all one, having different experiences.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, what if we let people enjoy their experiences?
Yes.
And not make people wrong. And
yes, exactly.
Cohabitate the planet in peace.
I know. We do want peace, don't we? I'm clinging to that certainty someday. Peace, but no, I agree with you. And the more we could just allow others to have their perspective, their opinions, and let the sharing begin, because, as we're safe to share, I think we're going to grow. And I think collectively we're going to grow, and the unity is going to, become real unification. And, that's what we're we're about here. Who's hello?
Hi, Lena. I'm loving the show because so many people
Great.
are chatting in the comments, so we know who's there.
That's awesome. Love it.
I love that. It's I love that someone shows up with questions, with comments, because this isn't just the Julietta and Dorice show. Like, we're here to interact and to hear what other people have to say, because neither of us are clinging to be right. I think one of the most healing things in my life has been letting go of that need to be right. I don't need to be right anymore. And, I used to pride myself. I had one friend that she would say to me, she's like, the horrible thing is not so much that that you think you're right, but that most of the time you are right. And like, my ego was just like, I'm not the only one that thinks I'm right. Other people think I'm right too. And now I'm like, somebody show me something else. Like, show me other possibilities. Show me show me anything. I'm just open to receiving. And like I tell everybody, if someone presents something to me, I'm going to turn inward and feel like, does that resonate with me? And there's things that were presented to me years before, and at the time I wasn't ready for it yet, and it didn't resonate for me, so I set it down. And but then years later, as I shifted and grew, it's like all of a sudden, like, oh, now this resonates. I'll walk with this for a while. But I don't pick up any thought or idea with the idea that this is the end. This is the absolute finite truth, and here I go. Like, everything that I carry, I live in the possibility of, I'm going to set it down because something else that resonates better is going to present itself to me.
There you go. Yes. Or pick it back up, just like a good book, right?
Exactly.
The book didn't hit me back then, but man, did I read this before? Because I don't remember it being that impactful. Now I get it. It's like,
oh, it's been interesting the other way too. Like, books that I read in the past, I was like, wow, that was the best book. It was da da da. And then I go back and read it, and I'm like, what? This is
it's true. It's true. That's how much we evolve and change. It's so true. It's so true.
Absolutely.
So we are inviting you to do the same, aren't we? And we're getting close to the close out.
Yes. And I will say, because we mentioned books, people ask about the book club. We put it for a rest for a little bit, but I'm heading to Egypt in a few weeks. And so I promise when I get back from Egypt, we'll pick the book club back up. So book club is something that interests you, because we do that online. I know some people get frustrated that they can't make it to the online events, either because they're too far away or their lives are too busy. But the book clubs, we do them on Zoom in the evenings. So we will pick those back up in, like I said, probably what comes after March? April. We'll pick that up in April. So, but do you have any final thoughts on our topic for today?
No, just to close out and say, I hope this opens you up a little bit to look at what you're gripping onto in terms of certainty, and see if you can just have a little wiggle room and open up and see what comes your way, and let us know.
Loosen the grip a little bit.
Loosen the grip a little bit. I like that. That's a good close.
All right. Well, it's always a pleasure to sit and have these conversations with you. And just like you said, I hope little seeds were planted today to help people open up a little bit more. Again, if you're listening in the present moment, if you're listening to this in the future, we do read all the comments and everything. So I'd love to hear like your thoughts on this, what kind of impact this conversation had on you. please reach out. We would love to hear it. And we are also always open to topics. Like if there's something specific that you would like Dorice and I to talk about, reach out. We do take suggestions.
Yes. We love that. We love that. We are open because we do not have any certainty about our topics. There you go.
Exactly. All right. Well, with that, I am going to wish everybody a magical day.
Yes. Ciao for now. Mwah.